Hey everybody. So welcome in and come on, have a seat and let's get down to the nitty gritty. So, this is the first official episode of Truth Served with a Side of Sweet Tea, which means I don't have to hold back on what I have to say about these people. I can speak my mind and say my feelings, and that's what I wanted to do when I rebranded. Yo, sister. Um, so when I rebranded, that was, hey, PJ, what I wanted. Um, I wanted to be able to um, speak for myself and not have to watch what I say and think, if that makes sense. But, anyways, so tonight we're going to take a look at two real winners, you guys. We have Lindsay Shiver versus Ruby Frank. Which one is worse than the other? I can't decide, so I'm going to give it to you guys and let you guys look through the evidence. So, our first case we're going to look at is Lindsay Shiver. And Lindsay, she's a piece. She is a piece of work. So, go ahead, guys, hit that like button. I don't know where everyone is. Hit the like button, hit the share button, text your friends, call them, say, hey, come check out these two crazy women. And if you don't mind, if you're here, send up some prayers for my daddy. My daddy will never come visit me again, you guys. So the whole time COVID was going around, my parents did not get COVID. Not one time. They came this week and spent the week with me. Hey, Kristen. And Thursday, it was Wednesday or Thursday when my daddy started feeling bad, and he got home late last night and tested today for COVID. So, it's your daddy. So when it comes to your daddy, you're like, I don't like it. So send up some prayers for him. So I don't know where everybody's at, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. Yeah, probably. I don't think he got it from Florida, but we don't know, so he's going to use that as his excuse, I'm sure. So I want to get some photos up for you guys. To give you some context of who it is we are talking about. Oh, hers is spelled with an A. I spelled her name wrong. Whoops. Oops. Okay. All right. Share my screen. Well, because it's the only place in my house that is quiet, sister. Okay. So this case is out of Georgia. Lindsay Shiver was arrested. She was an American woman and charged with conspiring to kill her husband in the Bahamas. An American woman, Lindsay Shiver, has been arrested and charged in the Bahamas for conspiring to kill her husband several months after the couple filed for divorce, a police news release and court documents viewed by CNN show. Lindsay Shiver, 36 years old, of Thomasville, Georgia, is accused of unsuccessfully conspiring with the two Bahama natives to kill her husband, Robert Shiver, an insurance executive and former Auburn University player. Court records and his company's website show. Prosecutors allege the accused conspired to kill the husband together on July 16th while on the Abaco Islands. Defendants Terrence Adrian Bethel, 28, and Farron Newball Jr., 29, also were taken into police custody and face conspiracy to commit murder charges. The three were flown to the capital, Nassau. So, Police in the Bahamas successfully foiled the plot by acting on crucial information on a phone recovered during a separate criminal inquiry into a recent local business break-in, a Bahamian police source told CNN. Written messages found on the phone indicated the existence of the sinister plot, according to the source, who spoke to CNN on the condition of anonymity. How do you say that? Anonymity. I can't say it. Words are hard tonight, you guys. Bear with me. Anonymity. Oh my goodness. The identity of the person of the phone's owner remains unclear as the investigation continues. The police source do not provide further details on that matter. So they're not sure, and we're not sure, because we don't have the details of whose phone the text messages were found on. Okay, so they're either between Lindsay's, her, or Newbold's, or Terrence's phone. So one of those three phones, these messages were found on. Attorneys represented the defendants in court during a Friday arraignment. According to court documents, they were not required to enter pleas and were remained to the Bahamas Correction Department until October 5th hearing. Lindsay and Robert Shiver both attended Auburn University and lived in Thomasville, according to social media posts. Okay, so now let me just show you guys Lindsay's picture. Now, Lindsay was a beauty queen. It's not, the ends are not connecting tonight, so it's okay. Anonymity. I sound like the squid on Finding Nemo. Well, okay, sister. So let me just show you guys the pictures of this beautiful family, this beautiful life, and then we'll go into more details on this. How about that? Okay, so I'm going to stop my camera. Maybe. All right. So this is Lindsay and Robert Shiver, who met. I don't want the article. We read that. I just want pictures. Can y'all see them? Yeah. So this is Lindsay and Robert right here, you guys. Okay. And this is, oh no, they have 3 boys now. This was 2 of the boys. There's 3 of them now. Now, this is where things get interesting. These are the 2 gentlemen that are involved in the plot to kill Lindsay Shiver's husband. So this is Terrence, her alleged lover. And this is Mr. Newbold Jr., who is supposedly the man who is going to follow through with the act of often Robert Shiver here. So, beauty queen here, she's a real piece of work. So we're going to go through this story. We're going to give you the basics, and then we're going to look at some footage of some body cam footages that have occurred throughout the last couple of months. Yeah, just divorce them. Now, mind you, they have already filed for divorce. And we're still living together. Okay. This happened during the last couple of months while she was still living at home, visiting her lover in the Bahamas. Now, this family, Robert's dad was the owner of a Fortune 500 company. So they're no stranger to money. They have money. They have lots of money. Okay. We're talking a $4 million home. We are talking a private jet, a Bahama home. The private jet is to fly them back and forth to their home. They have 3 boys. Everything on the outside looked perfect. Apparently, one of her friends went on her to a girls' trip to the Bahamas and came back and spilled some beans about the alleged lover, Terrence. So, it all started when there was a robbery. You can't make this stuff up, you guys. Okay, so there was a robbery at a bar / restaurant that the Shivers frequent quite often when in the Bahamas, which is also the place where the alleged lover, Terrence, is an employee. So here we are, the Bahamian lover that's like 10 years younger than her, who is not the dog's ear. Hey, Jennifer. So yes, she is a little bit crazy, I think. So let's go to Plunder's page, because Plunder has been bringing us all of the body cam footages that have been released. So the first body cam footage that Plunder was able to get her hands on, Lindsay here called the police. Yep, she called the police on her husband the morning that she was supposed to be leaving for the Keys to go visit her boyfriend in the Keys. And he was leaving to take his boys on a vacation to the Bahamas. So, let me get the right one. And let's just talk about how when she went, here it is. This was from July 16th, which is just not long before the robbery and the cops accidentally finding the messages on the phone. All right. Yeah, okay. So let me share it. This is where things get... I told you I was going live. This is, I'll let you guys be the judge on this, because I think she's just dramatic.
She's had her couples trip planned with her boyfriend to go to Key West.
Just got super aggressive, and that's when I called immediately, because he's been physical before, and I'm just not doing that.
So for the last 3 weeks, maybe longer, she's had her couples trip planned with her boyfriend to go to Key West. And when we land, she's going to go to her boyfriend
Elsewhere.
And me and the kids are going to our house. That did not push you or anything.
He doesn't want me to go.
You can ask all of the people that I know if I'm an aggressive or abusive person.
Do you want me to show them the photos?
I don't recommend going on vacation together, but that's just my personal.
I agree with that.
It's just an hour on an airplane
Do you remember me?
Pardon?
Do you remember me? When you had Murphy? When you had that guy sleeping in the house? They wound up arresting him for.
So he can get the kid stuff out of my car. I'm still going, Robert, so you can take
I would already said, Lindsay,
their
it's
luggage.
too late to put you on customs.
It's always just going to be a he said, she said.
I mean, you get video footage, you have surveillance cameras, you have something that I can look at and say, yes, he put his hands on you.
So, bless God, today we've got some exclusive body cam footage to view. It's regarding the case of Lindsay Shiver, who has been accused of plotting with her boyfriend Terrence Bethel to hire his childhood friend, a man named Farron Newbold, to permanently get rid of Lindsay's husband, Robert Shiver. You're going to view today an exclusive peek behind the couple's Thomasville, Georgia
It takes less than 3 minutes to change my smoke detector battery. Okay. Anyways, so Plunder was able to get this footage. I just want you guys to just listen to Lindsay's logical thinking here.
mansion after their divorce was filed, but only 4 days before a break-in occurred at the Bahamas bar where Lindsay's boyfriend once worked. And this break-in revealed the whole would-be murder for hire plot. Watching this footage is like watching a Netflix documentary unfolding.
Of course, he's inside now.
Okay. So what's going on? Y'all are separated, or what's the deal?
We have filed for divorce.
Okay.
Living in the same house. It's hell on earth, as you can imagine.
Okay.
In her divorce filings, as we've covered in previous videos in this series, we know that Lindsay accused Robert of taking the boys out of town without her. And she even leveled accusations of mistreatment, of misuse against Robert towards her. So now we get to see that day in action on the cops' body cam footage sent directly to me. They tracked down this footage. We get to hear her accusations from her own mouth.
But anyway, woke up this morning. We have travel plans to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And he's insisting that I don't go.
When I was reading over those divorce papers, I thought, wow, the cops had to get involved. There has to be body cam footage. And thankfully, Thomasville sent it to me today. This woman, Lindsay, is like a changeling to me. She looks different in every photo and video, but now we get to hear her voice.
Okay.
And then I have my keys. He moves me out of the way, starts trying to unload my car. Tells me he owns the car. He owns the rights to it.
It was Sunday, July 16th, 2023, at 7:20 in the morning when Officers Courtney, Murphy, and Officer Erin Vick, the main woman who speaks with Lindsay, they were dispatched to the Shiver residence in reference to a physical altercation.
Just got super aggressive, and that's when I called immediately because he's been physical before, and I'm just not doing that.
While en route, you'll see some of the body cam footage and the in-car systems. They were activated, and now we get to see this tumultuous footage between this couple who's going through this horrible divorce. Upon arrival, the officers make contact with the person who complained, Lindsay Shiver. Lindsay advised the cops of the altercation between herself and her estranged husband, and officers are going to try and encourage Lindsay to, separate, to de-escalate. Now, both Robert and Lindsay were advised of their case number, and they were given Victim Bill of Rights pamphlets. You'll see that Robert kind of is like, he doesn't really want it. Officer John Courtney, his body cam footage only shows about 5 minutes or so of the footage. He's kind of taking other calls. There's also Officer Paul Murphy's footage, which lasts longer, 18 minutes worth of footage, but some of that is him approaching this huge home. You're going to see all of it. The main one is Officer Erin Vick. It shows more than 15 minutes of the events that happened that day and set the wheels in motion this whole event. The report lists a weapon type of a knife cutting tool involved. So I'm not quite sure. I've watched it through. We'll see if we see a knife cutting tool involved.
So are you just wanting to leave, or is he supposed to be going with you?
Yeah, we're supposed to be going with our kids.
Okay.
Robert is listening.
Okay, so she just told a lie. She was not supposed to be going with Robert to the Bahamas with their kids. She was supposed to be going to Key West to meet her boyfriend, and then the night before changed her mind and decided she would go meet him in the Bahamas. But Robert said, "Oh, no, 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 you are not getting on my plane. Nope, you don't have access." So
is listed as a 6'3" 225-pound man with brown hair and blue eyes. And Lindsay's height and weight are not listed. But you're going to see a woman who's fed up and resentful of her husband. That's what I got. And she's got a lot of hubris too. You know, you'll maybe go through a range of emotions like I did when I'm watching this. As you can see, when they pull up, the officers are like, "Now what's going on? You guys are separated, or what's the deal?" And Lindsay starts to explain it's hell on earth. As you can imagine, we filed for divorce, but we're still living together. Indeed, that's got to be the worst. So Lindsay is trying to explain, we've had these travel plans. She wants to get on the plane with Robert, and she's...
I mean, I don't know what it is that you want us to do. I mean, if y'all have filed for divorce and y'all are going on a vacation, other than telling him he needs to calm down, I don't personally recommend you go on a vacation if there's an issue like that and y'all have filed for divorce.
Right.
I mean, it's obviously a hostile situation.
Right.
So is there a way that you can go without him, or... I mean, the best thing, what we're going to do is tell y'all that y'all need to separate.
Right.
I mean, has he put his hands on you that, you know, have y'all been physically aggressive today? I mean...
No, just decided to move me out of the way of my car to get to it.
Okay, what do you mean he moved you out of the way?
Like pushed me out of the way so he could get to my car and start unloading it.
Okay. We're going to need to talk to him then.
The female cop is making sense. She's like, I mean, if you guys are going to file for divorce, but you guys are still going on vacation together, I don't know what we can do as police officers other than tell him to calm down. Lindsay is not really telling the whole story. The cop says, I don't personally recommend you going on vacation together if there's an issue like divorce, especially, if they're already fighting at 7 a.m., you know, one of their little boys is there. I'm going to redact a lot of the personal information in his face and the license plates and everything. So is there a way that you can go without him? The cop is trying to ask Lindsay, you know, has he put his hands on you? The cops are saying the best thing that what we're going to do is just tell them, look, you guys need to separate. Now, if he put his hands on you or if he's been physically aggressive today, that's another story. That's when Lindsay claims that Robert pushed her out of the way so he could get to her car and start unloading the bags, unloading suitcases. You'll see later, it looks like Robert's going to leave Lindsay's suitcase in her Black Widow, as she apparently allegedly called her black Cadillac Escalade, but Robert is going to deny that he pushed her.
So, funny story about the Cadillac Escalade, Black Widow. Jesus. I told you can't make this stuff up. Apparently, Robert has now traded in the Black Widow for a Range Rover. And there were a lot of people who were upset that he traded in her Cadillac Escalade. But it's in his name. He owns it. He pays for it. It's his. He can do whatever he wants. Right? Hold on. We got to go through these ads.
Well, until he comes out here and decides to show out. So I don't know what's going to happen with that.
You familiar?
Nope.
Familiar with her? Somebody was almost got asleep in the house. Like a week.
This house? Before they realized it?
Yeah.
What in the hell? Why are you filed for divorce and going to go on vacation together? I mean, that's not something that we can work out for you. I mean, because we're going to tell you to separate.
Well, one of the cops is saying, should I just leave? And the female cop is saying, look, maybe you better stay. If he's coming out here, she doesn't know how Robert's going to act. She says, if Robert's coming out here and he's going to start, showing out, well, I need all the backup I can get. So the cops start bantering amongst themselves and they're asking, are you familiar with this house? No, but someone says, yes, I'm familiar with her, one of the cops. And he's going to explain they were there for another call. There was a homeless person who was actually somewhere staying in this house for nearly a week without the Shivers realizing it.
Okay, so what's going on this morning?
Then you hear Lindsay in the garage door telling Robert, "Don't look at me like that." Robert saying, "You're unbelievable." And Lindsay says, "You think you're above the law." So he's kind of mad, I guess, that Lindsay called the police.
So for the last 3 weeks, maybe longer, she's had her couples trip planned with her boyfriend to go to Key West.
Okay, but she just said you're going.
So that was Key West. I'm taking my kids, my 3 boys, to the Bahamas this morning. Our kids. Yesterday, she sent a message saying that she's going to change her plans and now get on the airplane with me and the kids to go to the Bahamas.
I am too, by the
And when we
way.
land, she's going to go to her boyfriend.
Elsewhere.
And me and the kids are going to her house. And I told her about supporting that. And you're not getting on the airplane. That can mess with the kids' heads. And it's just something we're not going to do. Well, I own 50% of the airplane. She, on paper, owns 25 of that. And majority owner, or the other 50% owner, and myself are both in agreement to not have it on the airplane. So 75% says we don't want you on the plane.
So they're trying to go on vacation. Robert's explained.
Now, homegirl can't even let the man talk. Like, literally, she keeps interrupting him to put her side of the story in. Like, I don't know why the cop didn't say, "Hey, we've already heard your side of the story. Now it's his time." But no. She got to keep on.
Look, we've planned this vacation. What's going on this morning? She switches up the
Yes.
pastor taking a boat. He owns 50% ownership of the plane and someone else owns another percentage. Lindsay only owns 25%. So the majority owners, 75%, him and someone else, don't want her on the plane. But Lindsay tells him, "That doesn't mean you get aggressive and push me out of the way."
That doesn't mean you get aggressive, push me out of the way, start unloading my car.
Push you out of the way.
Yes, at the back of the car.
Okay. Lindsay, I did not push you or anything.
He doesn't want me to go
I raised the back to grab my kids' suitcases. So
with a
we could
locked
leave.
car.
So we could leave. That's all it is.
And then Robert says, "Push you out of the way." He's claiming he did not push Lindsay. The cops are left with this he said, she said situation. They will reference that a lot. They're like, "Look, like I told you both, again, you guys are filed for divorce and be going on vacation together."
The best thing that we always recommend is y'all separate. Don't just separate from each other. You don't need to be going on vacation together if you file for divorce and it's obviously a volatile situation.
That's
Right.
I don't know how else to put it other than that, okay?
Now, of course, we see Robert's side. How hurtful would it be to watch your wife going back and forth to her boyfriend? But at this point, you can tell Lindsay is at that point where it's like that song, when a woman's fed up, there's nothing you can do about it. And Robert said, "That's my whole point. We don't need to be going on vacation together." He's like, "Look, Lindsay, it's too late for you to get on this plane, and you don't need to be confusing the boys getting on the plane." And she's like, "It's just an hour plane ride." But they're saying, "Look, I don't know how else I have to put it. As far as the laws in the state of Georgia, they advise that if you put your hands on each other, that's an act of simple assault, and you can be arrested for family violence."
As far as the pushing and shoving, say Georgia advises that you put your hands on each other, that is an act of simple assault, and you can be arrested on that for family violence. Okay. You're saying you did, he's saying you didn't. So
If you want to,
I can't sit here. It's a he said, she said situation. We run into it all the time. So
you
what's
can
gonna,
ask all the people that I know if I'm an aggressive or abusive person.
You want me to show him the photos?
okay, so here's what's gonna happen today.
Robert is hitting back at these accusations. At this point, Lindsay has already put the accusations of violence in her divorce papers. She's going to bring it up again here several times. Robert says, "You can ask all my friends and people he knows." He's claiming he's not violent. And people do back him up. I can't take a side here because I don't know. Just like the cops, you have the man saying, "I'm not violent." You have Lindsay saying he is. She literally says, "Do you want me to show them the photos?" That part got me. And I do remember I see a photo where she does have bruises on her, but that doesn't mean Robert put them there. Okay, you're saying he did. He's saying he didn't. The cop is saying, "I can't sit here. It's a he said, she said situation."
I'm going to generate a report that we were out here and that we made contact with the both of you. I'm going to generate a report that states you said he physically moved you away from the vehicle by pushing you away from the vehicle. You say, "I didn't do that. I opened the back hatch of the vehicle, got suitcases out."
Suitcase, and she stepped in front saying, "You're not grabbing them," and moved me out.
Exactly. And
I'm moving you, Robert. for God's sake.
we're not going to go back and forth. That's how we're going to do that. My next I mean, I can't tell her she can't go on vacation with you.
I
Okay,
understand.
it's marital property. That's that.
Pilot already said.
Okay,
too late to put it on.
all be that's all gonna be civil issues. I can't stop her. I can't say you can't go wherever the heck it is you want to go. I can't tell you. You can tell that has.
Sorry, I'm muted. Okay. Hey, Megs. Um, yeah, she's got some Amber Heard issues, that's for sure. But anyways, so she just, I mean, she's on my last nerve already. I don't know. There's just, ugh. So I dropped the link for for Plunder's video. And then she just, I mean, she acts like she's like entitled.
That has nothing to do with what we're doing here. We're here because of acts of violence to calm the situation. That's what we're here to do. Okay, I can't control y'all going on vacation. Don't recommend going on vacation together, but that's just my personal.
I agree with
It's
that.
just an hour on an airplane.
So what we're going to do is just generate a report that we were out here and we made contact with both of you. That's kind of like the best the cops can do at this point without proof. Part of me, at first I thought, oh my goodness, Lindsay is being so selfish. She just wants to hop on this plane with.
Mr. Shriver, what's your phone number?
Now, since I own this vehicle and it's solely in my name,
It's marital property right now. She still has access to it.
okay, I understand she has access to it, but can I not get my kids' suitcases out of that?
Yes.
You can get your children's property
That's
out
what
of
I
it.
thought.
So he can get the kid stuff out of my car.
It's marital property. And I don't have any paperwork saying that he's not allowed access to the children's property.
He's just not able to move me out of the way to get it. Right.
Robert at one point is allowed to go in her Cadillac Escalade and take out, I guess, the boys' suitcases, put them in his truck so he can just go take all the boys without her to the Bahamas. And you can see how her plan probably ratcheted up after this day. This was probably the linchpin. And he's saying, look, I'm going to tell her she can't go on vacation with me.
Again, he said, she said.
I'm still going, Robert, so you can take.
Pilot already said, Lindsay, that it's too late to put you on. But he has to pick up the other owner after he drops us, so we can't be late.
2, 3, 4.
Here's your ID back.
Thank you.
About what time this morning did all this start?
7 a.m.
So you're supposed to be going to the.
She was supposed to be going to Key West and cancel.
I'm well aware. I text the pilot. Everybody knew it.
Okay.
He's just being extremely difficult. Which that's nothing for the new.
Okay. So are you leaving now?
I have to go get my kids.
Okay.
And they're going back and forth about, can I go in here? Can I go in there? And the cops are trying to explain, look, it's all marital property. All of that is like civil issues. Like we are here, basically the cops are there for any type of criminal issues. But as far as civil stuff, as far as who can go in what car, or I guess who can, look, I cannot control you guys going on vacation together. I don't recommend you going on vacation together, but that name, but they're saying, look, it's marital property right now. And that's when Lindsay is like, I'm still going, Robert. So I see what that firecracker in her that her friends called her is all about. And Robert's like, it's too late to put your names on customs. And they're trying to explain she still has access to certain things. It's marital property. I don't have paperwork saying that he's not allowed access to the children's property. So yeah, Robert can go in there and get the bags he needs to take the boys to the Bahamas.
All right. There's 2 that are at other places.
Okay. All right. Like I said, my only recommendation for you is that y'all just
It
separate.
was always just going to be a he said, she said.
I mean, you get video footage, you have surveillance cameras, you have something that I can look at and say, yes, he put his hands on you. I mean, we have an independent witness that's non-biased. I mean, something, other statements. But right now I have you and him, and, he's saying one thing, you're saying another. I mean, if it's this type of situation, y'all just need to separate. I mean, just don't be around each other. If it's going to be like this.
So how do we do that with 3 kids?
All right, what do you got here, cops?
Did she really just say, how do we do that with 3 kids? Like every other divorced couple in America? Yeah, work out a time schedule. Now, watch what she is fixing to say, you guys. Now, Robert has the boys' stuff, but she's not through pitching her little hissy fit. So, hold on.
So now I'm able to get my kids' stuff back out of the vehicle.
Okay, why are we doing this though?
She said, now I'm allowed to get their stuff back out of his vehicle. Now I'm allowed to get their stuff back out of his vehicle. Okay. I mean, oh, sorry, you have to go. Thank you for joining us, Jennifer. Yeah. I'm like, what in the world? We're just going to sit here and go back and forth all day long because you're not getting your way?
Why do you need to do that?
Well, because he's taking my kids.
So we're going to go back and so we're going to stand here while y'all go back and forth moving suitcases back and forth between cars.
So that's what's just happened.
If that's what you feel like you need to do, then
I mean, she's sitting here arguing with the cop.
then by all means do it. But you understand it's making the situation worse, and you're doing it in front of the children now. I don't.
Our plans have been the same for weeks.
But this date is so crucial now that I'm thinking of the timeline. All this melee started July 16th, 7 a.m. And when you think about it, just 4 days later, just imagine how angry Lindsay had to be to see Robert, taking their 3 boys off to the Bahamas without her. She wanted her cake and to eat it too. I actually can see both sides because if this domestic issue has any validity to it, not that it'll get her off of a supposed murder plot, but stranger things have happened. So they're trying to figure out, look, you were supposed to be going to Key West. And Robert's saying, look, I texted the pilot. And Lindsay's saying, okay, so you're just leaving now? And she says, he's just being extremely difficult, which is nothing freaking new. Lindsay reminds me of a woman who is fed up. Like, I've been through a divorce before, my first marriage. And when you are fed up and done, you're done. They start arguing over photos. Now, I have seen photos of Lindsay with injuries. One of them may have been a tennis injury, may have been an injury from tennis, according to Lindsay's post. And I've seen others where I just had noticed a bruise somewhere on her. But again, that's not proof. I don't know if she reached out to any other person, like her parents or her girlfriends, before all this melee and told them. So she's like, it's going to be like this. How do we do this with 3 kids? Basically, they're trying to work out how to co-parent, not as a married couple, but as a separate kid stuff back out of watching. You need to get past the children.
Yes, I am pooping in your living room.
Okay, so the story doesn't end there. He, in fact, does leave without Lindsay. Don't blame him. I wouldn't have put her on the plane either. Then there were photos that were released from the bar, the same bar. Apparently, a lot happens at this bar, restaurant. And everyone is assuming that Terrence is the one who sent this supposed photo of Robert with a young female. Now, the truth has come out about the young female. Her name is Jordan, and Jordan and Robert and Lindsay have all been friends. It was a going away party for Jordan, and there is a picture. There's a photo, a snapshot of him embracing. He's got his arm like around the young lady. It doesn't look like it's like, you can't say that it. If you didn't know that they were friends and it was a going away party, then you would think, yeah, you would think that it was cynical. But they're saying it is not. It was not. And then supposedly Lindsay's response to the photo is, her text response is, kill him. And that is the rumor that is going around, stating that that is what she got arrested for. Now, I am not familiar with Bohemian law. I'm not going to pretend to be, but I feel like there would have to be more involved in the messages than it to just say, kill him, and 3 people are arrested. I mean, yeah. So Lindsay has now been arrested. She is still in the Bahamas on a ankle bracelet. We don't know the details of the actual plot. Lindsay's lawyer has put out and made public what she is asking for in the divorce. I don't see how any judge is going to give Lindsay, if she's been, she has been arrested and goes to court October 5th for this murder for hire, this plot to kill her husband. And she's asking for way too much. She says that he needs to keep her accustomed to the lifestyle that her and her kids are used to, which means that she's expected him to pay her a whole lot of money. Now, mind you, when she was arrested and she went to Fox Hill Prison, you guys, not coming out very clean usually, but Lindsay comes out, manicure still perfectly done, her pedicure still on point, and her $11,000 Cartier bracelet is still on her wrist as she goes in and gets booked, and is still on her wrist when she comes out after a few days of being in jail. Now, again, all 3 of the folks that were involved have been arrested. Again, kill him sent to a photo is just not enough, because if I would have been arrested for every time I said something, I'd like to kill him, or kill him, or kill her, or I would have already have been like under the prison. Okay. So to me, there's more to the story. There is also issues between the mother-in-law, father-in-law, and Lindsay. Now, there was a day where she spent the afternoon following around her in-laws, chasing them around town because she thought they had kids. And in fact, Robert had the kids. Robert also had just came back from spending the weekend with Lindsay's mother. He took the kids to see his mother. Again, this is before the arrest. And then there was a USB file sent to their home, and also a USB file sent to his parents. And they, we don't know what is on the USB drive, other than it is photos of his wife. This was before, I'm pretty sure, everything went down. Like, I'm pretty sure he wasn't completely aware of the boyfriend and all of that at the time. So he believes that, maybe they have a stalker. So he calls in and says, what do I do? Just covering his bases, protecting his family like a man is supposed to do. So, yeah, that is where we sit with the Lindsay and Robert Shiver. That's just a small breakdown. There is so much to cover that it would take us a few different ones. But the body cam footage, you can watch the entirety of it. There's a lot more to it from that day on Plunder's channel, as well as the body cam footage from the day that she was following the in-laws, as well as the police call on the USB drive. And I think there's one more body cam footage. So that is Lindsay Shiver, better known as the Peanut Beauty Queen. And Plunder does make a comment at the beginning of her video where she says that that Lindsay never looks the same in any of her photos. Totally true. Totally true. And there are people camped out in the Bahamas that are paparazzi, I guess. I mean, they're following her around just to see what the outfit of the day is going to be, because Lindsay likes to have the, fancier clothes and the shoes and the bags and, so all of that is there. There's a lot to Lindsay Shiver. And when you watch the other videos, if you watch those other videos, or if not, we'll come back to those videos and go over those again. But yeah, Lindsay is, I'm interested in seeing what comes out in court. Now, are we all familiar with Ruby Frank? If you know who Ruby Frank is, please put a number 1 in the chat so we can talk about this dirtbag. I'm going to turn off my camera because the hubby's coming to bed. He doesn't want to be on the camera. And the cat's coming too. All right, so Ruby Frank. Who is Ruby Frank, and what has Ruby Frank done this time? So, Ruby Frank is one of the first family vloggers on YouTube. She ran a YouTube channel called 8 Passengers. Huh? She ran a YouTube channel called 8 Passengers. 8 Passengers was a daily vlog, lifestyle vlog between Ruby, her husband, and their 6 children. I loved 8 Passengers when it first came out. I was very addicted to their everyday life. It seemed like they had things going on and their kids were well behaved, and well, eventually we started seeing more into their everyday lives, and we're talking I quit watching because there was a day where she one of her kids, the little ones had forgotten to take their lunch to school. School called, and instead of taking them lunch, she told the teacher that it is the child's responsibility to make sure she has lunch. Can't make this stuff up. It is the child's responsibility to make sure she has lunch. So she will not be eating today. She'll have to go hungry. I just pray that the school gave that child something to eat that day. There was another incident where her oldest son, woke his brother up at like 2 a.m. in the morning and played a joke on him and told him to get up, that they were going to Disney World. So his brother got up and got dressed and ready to go, and there was no trip to Disney World. And then Chad, the oldest son, his punishment was to have his bed removed from his bedroom, and he had to sleep on the floor for a year. Her daughter Sherry has not had anything to, her oldest daughter Sherry has not had anything to do with her in years. No one is, so we're not sure of what's going on with the husband. We're not sure where he's at, but Ruby has joined hands with a lady named Jody, and Jody and Ruby have a, like, I don't even know what you would call it. I mean, essentially we're calling it a cult because essentially that's what it is, but it's called Connections. That is the name of the church program, whatever. And so the other day, Ruby and Jody were recording a video for the program. We're not packing anything. He's lint rolling.
Shut up.
And then in the process of the video being made, one of the children, one of the boys, manages to climb out of the bathroom window and escape, go to a neighbor's house, ask for food, and the neighbor called 911 because the child also had really deep lacerations from where he had been tied with a rope. He informed them that his 10-year-old sister was locked in the bathroom. So Ruby and Jody have now been arrested on felony child abuse. Like, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of details because I really want to sit down and like really, really bring all the facts with you guys. But for years, we had been, social media has been bringing out all of the evidence against Ruby Frank and the allegations for years. And why it took a child escaping a bathroom window before this was investigated makes no sense. Now, originally when the Franks came out and started their vlog, the way that Ruby talks and the way that she talks to her kids. Now, I don't know off camera if there's yelling and beating and whatnot. Obviously, they're not going to do that on camera if that's the case. But when she talks to her kids, on the video, she has very thorough conversations with them, and the kids are very involved, and they sound like when you watch them, you think all these kids are well behaved and but then looking through some of the old video, and sorry you guys, but 8 Passengers has been canceled. It is no longer on YouTube, but don't worry, there's plenty of people that have all those recordings for us to watch. Also, I think there's something going on with Jody, and I think some of those videos are being deleted as well. So you guys have homework, okay? You need to go through and go down Ruby Frank rabbit hole, okay? Because I really want to deep dive into Ruby Frank. Well, they haven't made any vlogs in a while since they got hooked up with the reconnections. The husband, I don't know where he is. I know that Ruby's sisters put out a statement And the daughter, the oldest daughter, Sherry, the one that I said had distanced herself a few years ago, the day that her mom was arrested, she posted a picture of it. She posted a picture of the cop out front arresting her mom, and with the caption that just said, "Finally," or "It's about time," or something like that. So Sherry is speaking out, and hopefully we're going to hear some more details of what life was like inside that home when cameras were not on. So Thursday night, we will go further into the case of Ruby Frank. Now, with all of that, between these two blonde-headed ladies, which one do you think is the worst? Plot to kill or years of child abuse? I think they're both just crazy. Ruby, though, I think has gotten into, well, with Lindsay, there is suspicion that she is on something. We know that her alleged lover is a dealer, so they feel like her friends and family think that she is on a substance. With Ruby, I think that she got involved in the deep her mind was I think Jody altered her mind a little bit, like did some serious brainwashing. And if you watch the videos of Ruby and Jody, it's strange. The fact that they were inside Jody's home, the kids had been tied up for a while because they were hospitalized because their lacerations were so deep and they were so malnourished. So is she living in the home with Jody? And I don't know. You guys have to go watch the Jody and Ruby videos and tell me if you feel like there's a secret relationship there. Yes, she is abusing her kids physically, but we don't know what Lindsay's doing, or why Robert is so set on her not having the kids. She cannot see them. I don't think she's been able to see them since she was arrested. So, rope. It was from ropes. She had tied them up with ropes and didn't feed them. Like I've told my kids, plenty of times, I'm going to tie you up. I'm going to put duct tape on your mouth. In reality, I've never done it, or would I ever do it? But the thought of a child having to escape through through a bathroom window, like in a home that is supposed to be totally different than what. I just don't see the point of putting yourself out there and becoming viral and social media famous when you are doing these kinds of things. Yeah. So we'll go more into Ruby Frank's story on Thursday, and I know Daisy's going live tomorrow night at 8, so you guys can join her. And I've been trying to share everybody's lives when they go live, so you can find those on the community page. So I'm going to wrap up for the night. Thank you guys for joining me on this episode of Truth Served with a Side of Sweet Tea. Good night.